May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? Please come forward to the stage, except for the first and the second row. About 230 people are going to attend today's event, so please come to the stage. Especially if you have some baggage or clothing, please put them on the floor for other people to have a seat. There are a lot of cameras at the end of this hall, so please come forward and sit from the first seat, front seat. Thank you very much. For those of you in the lobby, please come into the hall. We are going to start shortly. It's very great pleasure to see all of you. It's an honor and privilege. In this field, I encounter a lot of people, and I think that the most of the people I encounter in my field are here today. I'm so happy to see all of you. During the same time, another ceremony is going to be held by Chungbuk University, and I am very happy to see more people are coming to here. Before we get started, we are going to talk about the developments of 5G-V2X technology, and we are going to introduce some of the people. Kitaeg said that Kitaeg is playing a role to prove our technology for smooth communications, and spectrum analyzers are here. You can see on the right, they sponsor the equipment for us. Kitaeg is here. Please give a big round of applause for him. And today, the platform itself is supported by a government agency that is called the Project for 5G V2X development. So Angi Chan is here today. Please give a big round of applause. For 5G NR Sidelink, we realized the software-based technology. I think this is a very important issue. So the best experts in Korea for semiconductors, Mr. Isu-in is here in red. She's in red. Please stand up. Last but not least, I'd like to introduce another person who is not here today. He is from Chungbuk University, and he's working about the LiDAR data. And he supported us with technical assistance. So Professor Choi is the person I like to express my gratitude to. So I think that his researcher might be here or not. So please give a big round of applause for the person who's not here today. So after that, I'd like to give a house note announcement. So the simultaneous interpretation is now provided, and a lot of clients in the US and Europe are watching this video. So you have to be on the stage to expose yourself to the global audience. You don't have to speak in English. Please give a big round of applause. You don't have to speak in English because simultaneous interpretation is provided right now. Thank you for your generous understanding. First of all, I'd like to talk about the schedule, today's schedule. So today, 2 sessions are going to be held. I'm sorry, I think that there is a mistake. There are some errors in broadcasting. So I am going to speak one more time with Q sign. This is my first experience of live broadcasting. Thank you for your understanding. I really actually wanted to introduce a person who is the father of this project, but he didn't want me to introduce him. But I think I have to introduce him because he played a big role. Developing a model is very difficult. You have to overcome technical barriers, and there are a lot of problems to overcome. So until launching this project, you have to put the seeds, and you have to see the plant grow. So it's a very demanding job. And there is a person who worked in the PM of software, and he is a senior head. His name is Kim Choi. I'd like to give him a big round of applause. Well, so I was told that I have to see the Q sign before I talk. So let me start today's event, which is called 5G-V2X Showcase. Before we get started, I'd like to talk about today's schedule. We are going to have 2 sessions. In the first session, Mr. Yong Je of Ettifos is going to talk about the meaning of the development of 5G V2X, which is followed by Kitaeg and Ji-Woong, who are going to give us a congratulatory speech. Next, Professor Gumin is going to give you the keynote speech about the autonomous driving, global trends, and 5G V2X. And we are going to connect to the speaker, whose name is Maxime Flament, online. And he's going to give us another keynote speech. He's going to talk about the roadmap of 5G AAC V2X. And the second session is going to start, where we are going to have a demonstration sessions. Global CTO Kim Hojun is going to talk about our software-based V2X modem, and he's going to explain us very simply about the technology. And CTO Kangmin will have a demonstration session. So first of all, I'd like to invite Mr. Yong Je. Please give a big round of applause. My name is Yong Je. Despite your busy schedule, you are here today. I'm so happy to see all of you. I actually worried that there might be some empty seats, but there aren't, so I'm very happy to see all of you. I think that you are well aware of our company Ettifos, and we are developing V2X modems, and except for chips, we develop products at the lowest to the highest levels. So today's event has a meaning of showing our ability to compete with global giants. So I wanted to brag about our ability. We are very competitive, and we are able to outpace our competitors. And we have been very ambitious about our goal, and we put a lot of efforts. Today we are going to invite some speakers, and they will introduce the communications technology. In order to continue the development of communications technology, we need to improve our ecosystem. So rather than bragging about the communications technology, we would like to focus on the 5G V2X and the compatibility. And last week, Smart Ability Summit between Korea and Israel was held, and I think that some of you were there. Actually, I felt very sorry at the time because Israeli companies successfully attracted a lot of investment while we failed to do so. So I didn't feel good. I think we are very strong, we are very competitive, and we are able to attract a lot of investments. So your investments will be very crucial for our continuous development. So today we are going to have a demonstration session, and everything is perfect. Of course, it's not perfect when it comes to commercialization, but at least we can show you our project. And of course, there is a long way to go, but starting from April, we can show you our ability to commercialize our product. Once again, thank you for being us. Thank you for joining with us. Thank you very much. Thank you for your speech. Next, I'd like to invite speakers of congratulatory speech. And our next speakers will introduce us the meaning of 5G-V2X. So next is Mr. Kitaeg. Please give a big round of applause. Good afternoon. I am Kitaeg of Korea Electronics Technology Institute. V2X, autonomous driving, and the rest. These are the subjects that encompass all of us. I think this is the biggest event that cover all the topics that I told you before. So first of all, I like to congratulations for Ettifos for their development and demonstration of world first 5G NR V2X hardware and software. I think that you will know the fact that the Ministry of Science and ICT support the development project of next generation self-driving car communication technology, which focuses on 5G NR V2X. From April 2021, about 1.1 trillion won budget is spent for this project. And this is to help commercialize 4 or higher level of autonomous cars. In order to do so, we need 5G NR V2X technology because we need real-time technology, real-time sensor, and we have to send information real-time to vehicles, pedestrians, and infrastructure. That's why the government is supporting commercialization of the 4 or higher level autonomous cars. So the project is ongoing. And now we are facing the second year of this project. Nevertheless, Ettifos developed the Sidelink IP that meets the Release 16 standards. I'm very happy, honored, and privileged to be here and see the achievements of Ettifos. So we are at the starting point and we have to make continuous efforts. And based on software and DP, we have to make improvements when it comes to technologies, and we need to verify and prove our developed technology. And we also have to raise our voice in the standardization, global standardization of this technology. As you are well aware, Korea and the rest of the world face difficulties in 5G NR V2X. Especially the Korea did not make a decision about this development, and the government said that they are going to make a decision at least by the end of this year. It's a very unfortunate situation. Some projects are delayed, cancelled, and there are many difficulties hitting the related companies. Against this backdrop, I am very sad and sorry. I hope that the companies will overcome these difficulties. I think we can develop chipsets like those of Qualcomm. We have enough ability, and we can develop chips and modems. We need to focus and select. Last but not least, I'd like to thank Ettifos for preparing for this wonderful event and a lot of staff members for their continuous efforts. And I look forward to their continuous achievements. Thank you very much. He was the head of the center, and I think that he encouraged us a lot. Thank you once again. Next speaker. We are in our 4th year, and in our early stage, this speaker wrote a lot of reports about our project, and he's from Daegu Gyeongbuk Institute of Science and Technology, Professor Ji-Woong. Please give a big round of applause. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ji-Woong of Daegu Gyeongbuk Institute of Science and Technology. I'm very happy that I received such a great introduction. First of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting me to this wonderful event. It's the last day of March and it's very warm. And in this wonderful weather, I'm here today and it's very honored to see all of you. So in the early stage of Ettifos, I gave my great attention to its products and I conducted a lot of studies on the product. And I have been very happy to work with Ettifos. As you're well aware, infrastructure, autonomous driving, data sharing are very important to provide safe and stable services, and the possibility is getting bigger and bigger. Against this backdrop, it is very meaningful to see a Korean company is developing 5G and V2X technology. So in the project that was mentioned before, a lot of products and technologies are being developed. They are related to processing data, and it is important to determine how much resources we need to distribute and how. So I have been working with this company and the project, and I thought that it would be really great to have a machine that can send real-time data rapidly. And I heard that finally such technology was developed. I'm very happy. In the future cars, data transmission services will be needed more. So development of such technology will be much more crucial. I know that we face a lot of difficulties, but despite these difficulties, a lot of staff members of Ettifos put a lot of effort. So I hope that you will have a great success. Last but not least, I like to say to you that many of you are best experts in autonomous driving and future cars. You are playing a very big role. So I wish you a great success as well. And I hope that you will contribute to the development of autonomous cars of Korea. And I look forward to seeing your achievements. Thank you. And I wish you happiness and health. Thank you. As I told you before, We are attended by people from academia, government, and research centers. I think that a lot of people are showing their attention to technological advancement. Now, I'd like to move on to the keynote speech. I tried to invite influencers, and it was not easy. But I was able to invite very popular lecturer. I think that you can have a lot of expectations about the lecture of Professor Jeong from Kookmin University. Professor Kangmin, please give a big round of applause. Good afternoon. I'm Gumin of Kookmin University. I'm happy to see many people here who are not easy to see. So all of you are experts, and it's not easy to give a lecture in front of you. Anyway, I like to touch upon the government projects about autonomous driving. And some people might wonder if the V2X is really necessary or not. And dilemma zone is another important issue. So sometimes a car can stop and go backward. This is about the dilemma issue, so we have to think about this issue. I'd like to advertise my book, CES 2023 Deep Review. I'm a professor of School of Electronic Engineering of Kookmin University. I worked with SK Telecom. So we need to look at the roads, mobile carriers, driving all together. And I'm working as an advisory professor, and I try to give right feedback. And I receive ideas from my colleagues too, technical ideas. So I try to share my feedback. These are my students who are working hard. So I put the photos of my students. So some people say that autonomous driving is in crisis. This year, there was a huge layoff of Google Waymo, and there are other issues too. In addition, Jim Cruise lost $5 million a day last year. So they are thinking seriously whether they have to spend more or not. So we have to think about autonomous driving. And it is true that autonomous driving is evolving. And the processor of autonomous driving, LiDAR, they are coming to Korea, and we can see those technology on the road in the very near future. Electronic vehicles have developed thanks to the platforms, and we need stable software platforms, processors, and LiDARs for autonomous driving. And I think that by 2024 or 2025, we can see stable technology use for autonomous driving. Tesla is focusing on this issue, and other automakers are paying a lot of attention about this issue, and they are dividing subjects 2 ways or 3 ways. So until now, the development of autonomous driving was slow, but the speed is going to be accelerated in the future. From 2027, there will be a huge increase in the speed of of the development of autonomous driving. So by that time, we have to think about how to decorate urban driving conditions. So because we are here for Ettifos event, we have to talk about technology more. In the very near future, the stabilization of autonomous driving is going to be enabled. Maybe next time I can give you more detailed lecture. The paradigm shift is going to take place in the very near future. And we have to think about how to map the urban roads, predict the movements of pedestrians or vehicles. So V2X is a must in this process. This is by Tesla. It was introduced on Tesla AI Day 2022. In the virtual environment, Tesla made a prediction about the movements of a pedestrian or car. So they gauge the time and speed of a pedestrian going past to a vehicle. So in this process, we need more detailed information. Our next topic is main trends in connected cars. Some of you might know, some of you might not, but last year there was the Avanci crisis. Nokia, Benz were entangled by a lawsuit. And they were asked to pay $15 per 4G communications patent. This was a very huge number, and it was very huge that some subsidiaries were able to go bankrupt because of this crisis. And after September 22, the number increased to $20. So you have to pay this amount of money. And Avanci is preparing a lot of projects, and they have to pay a lot in various channels. It is very economically demanding. So this is a side effect. Another issue is that LTE VT cannot be used by car makers, automakers. And they have to pay dual fees. And the burden of the service development is going to be talked later on. And moving to the scaling of infrastructure. So in Europe, the scaling of ITS 5G is happening. Connecting mobile networks, ITS, 5G, DSRC is promoted. So in the CES 2023, we were able to see that autonomous vehicle is developed and advanced. And this was also touched upon during the CES 2023. LiDAR is coming to the market. So Shanghai automaker is going to commercialize LiDAR. So it's a very near future. This is a slide about Ettifos workforce 5G and V2X modem development. This is, I think, noteworthy because we are here for Ettifos event. And you also need to look at the expansion of LiDAR. So it is about putting LiDAR in the infrastructure. It was also touched upon during the CES 2023. Next is urban modeling and the expansion of simulators. I will not talk about MWC 23. So connected car is not easy. It's very complicated. The release 15 was promoted in the past, but now the situation is different. So we can ensure a small portion of networks for smart cars. So it is about network smart slicing. So API standardization is promoted as well. And we can also test this technology in the US market as well. So it is about making money through 5G. So this is what was talked about during the MWC 2023. There are some countries that are strong in mobile development, automobile development, and some countries are very strong in IT. So this is the 15 chips. China say that there are some problems in our cell, and they say that release 15 is good. So there are some issues you can see in the screen. So all Kookmin and Autotech say that they are going to accelerate the developments of their products. Next is the scenarios we have to use V2X. So we are working with Ettifos for a project 2 related to this issue. This is a dilemma zone I talked at the beginning of my presentation. This is about the remaining time and how much you have to wait, how long you have to wait. This is the optimization of urban driving, and this is about how to reflect changes in urban conditions. This is the report published by the Hyundai Motor Company. This is receiving signals and save energy in autonomous driving. So they say that we can reduce the use of energy by 40%. So the Hyundai Motor Company is simulating these scenarios, and they are going to have a test in Korea and the US this year, and we are going to join with them. So about 30% of energy saving is going to be promoted. The numbers are different by company, like Tesla, Hyundai Motor Company. They're talking about different numbers, but anyway, we can reduce the use of energy. Last but not least, I like to wrap up my presentation. So the development of autonomous driving is expected, and we have 3 choices: V2X release 15, DSRC, and we must consider the use of V2X. And the Avanshi crisis had a huge impact, and we have to consider about this impact. So Ettifos is playing a big role in the development of autonomous driving in Korea and the rest of the world, and I believe that they can make a huge contribution. Thank you very much. So I'm a sales marketing person, but I think that he is better than me. As he beautifully stated, standardization controversy is always there. So we need to protect the market, and we have to divide the different standards, in order to ensure the stable market. So you can make different responses. You can upgrade software instead of applying different chips. So based on 16, we can update our release. For example, 17. Instead of making new chips, we can upgrade software, OTA methodologies, subscription-based software upgrades, new standardization. These are the choices we can make. So we are very happy, or we are excited to see the heated debate about the standardization. And we believe the software upgrade can be a great choice. The reason why I talk too much is that it requires some time for us to connect to our next speaker who is in another country. Next speaker is Maxime Flament of the 5G Automotive Association. So 5GAA is an association of auto components makers, car makers, communications providers, and the rest. And this is an international organization set to promote the spread of autonomous driving. And they are working to spread universal standardization in this field. So the US shifted from DSRC to the new weight, C-V2X, and a lot of budget is going to be spent for C-V2X. And the situation will be changed in Europe and another country, and people are waiting for the Korean government to make a decision because they are yet to make a decision about which option they're going to take. So I think that it would be really meaningful for us to hear from Maxime Flament. So that's why we invited this expert.
Yes, perfect. So you see me also, and you see my screen. That's perfect.
Maxime, can you hear me?
Should I start?
Yes, you can.
네, 시작
Thank you
부탁드립니다.
very much. Thank you very much for this introduction. I'm Maxime Flament. My name is Maxime Flament. I'm 5GAA Chief Technology Officer, and I'm very happy to be invited to this Ettifos 5G-V2X showcase. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to give you an overview of what 5G is, and then also try to integrate or introduce also why 5G-V2X is so important to us. First, a little bit on 5GAA. The 5G Automotive Association is an organization that brings together the automotive and the telecommunication. We are addressing different connectivity mobility needs, especially anything that is related to functions in the cars that brings smarter, safer, environmentally friendly services. But all this is done with the industry sustainable way, where we are trying to find viable solutions for the market. We are at the moment 120 members. We started 6 years ago with 8 companies. We are representing 8 of the top 15 OEMs, 11 of the top 15 OEMs, 8 of the top 10 MNOs, and 2 of the top smartphone vendors. And if we look at our members, we can see that 6 of our members, so 5% of our partnership, is made of Korean members. You see the names that are here, and we are very happy that both very large companies from automotive or from telcos, also small and medium enterprise, are part and representing the Korean community in the 5G Automotive Association. So what are the main achievements so far after 6 years of the 5GAA? What we managed to do is to be now considered as the global lead organization on automotive connectivity. We also are the organization that helped transforming the 3GPP standards from the inception, from the standards itself to the market reality. And we have done that for LTE-V2X, but we are also doing that for 5G-V2X, starting from 3GPP release 16. In addition, in 6 years, we really made sure that all single vehicle manufacturers consider 3GPP technologies as well as 5G as the reference technology for putting connectivity in their cars. And that 6 years ago was not exactly the case. And the way we push these towards the market is to make sure that we look at deployment, we advance CV2X deployment, we look at the barriers, the market entry barriers, we accelerate the time to market. And to do so, we look at standards from a pre-standardization point of view. We bring all the members together. We discuss what are the needs for the automotive, and we push them to the relevant standardization organization around the world. Finally, advocacy from a policy point of view is very important to us. We look at each important markets. This is US, Europe, China, Korea, Japan, Australia. We have a presence in each of these countries, and we are interacting with the policymakers in order to make sure that the technology is good to go in terms of policy making. And finally, our members are doing a lot of innovation, and that's where Ettifos, for example, is doing a great job, making sure that these technologies are coming up from innovation, are leveraged into 5GA, and that 5GA members can use it in order to plan for market introduction. So a few strategic objectives of the 5GA, and you can see at the bottom part, the connectivity, even though it's a small box at the end of the day, is the core of all what we can do in the connectivity of the vehicles. And whether you're talking about basic safety services or whether you're talking about more advanced driving services such as automated valet parking, teleoperated driving, sensor sharing, also maneuver coordinations. All these services that you have on top have a clear link to what kind of connectivity is at the disposal of the vehicle and integrates with the infrastructure. And for this reason also, we have always to consider 4 different aspects of the road ecosystem. One, the digital roads, where we have to ensure that the traffic managers are integrated into the traffic ecosystem. Then the digital vehicles and the digital users. Only by having a good progress on these 3 aspects, we can ensure that the services and solutions are eventually delivered in an optimal way. Now, CV2X, and by extension 5G-V2X, has 2 complementary communication modes. And we very often see vehicles that are connected around the world. There are millions of them. They are connected with the mobile network communication. They are using the traditional mobile network from the mobile network operators, and they are using licensed spectrum in order to exchange a different kind of information. So this deployment has started for quite some time now. What we are looking at and what Ettifos is bringing here is what we can do with direct communication. And Ettifos started a few years ago with the LTE-V2X direct communication, and now is bringing to us 5G-V2X direct communication, which is standardized as release 16, 17 of 3GPP. This connectivity brings very short range, low latency, vehicle to vehicle, vehicle to infrastructure, and even vehicle to pedestrian interactions. It uses the 5.9 gigahertz, which is harmonized almost everywhere across the world. And it's independent of the presence of the cellular network. And the way we want to do exactly the way we have done with LTE-V2X is to build up roadmaps to plan all together with 120 members the introduction of the technologies. So back in 2018, we introduced LTE-V2X in our roadmap. We planned that LTE-V2X would be deployed and especially supported by China markets in 2020. That was the case. But at the same time, we then made another roadmap that was more a use case roadmap at that time, including 5G-V2X. This roadmap has been since updated. We are planning to update this roadmap every 18 months. But the most important at the end of the day is that we want to make things happen. And not in terms of research or not in terms of more pilots, etc., but we want the industry to adopt the technology, make a real impact on the road eventually in terms of safety, in terms of efficiency of traffic, and we try to remove the roadblocks that are on the way to this deployment. Now, this is a simple picture that we use for our roadmap. It depicts many of the use cases that are attractive to the vehicle manufacturers. At this stage, a lot of the use cases are focusing on delivering local hazard and traffic informations, basic safety, intersection safety, hazard collection and sharing. These are relatively easy from a radio perspective to deliver. They can be delivered with the mobile network. They can be delivered also with the short-range communication, starting with LTE-V2X PC5. Now, where it becomes more challenging and where the 5G-V2X makes a difference is in the more advanced driving use cases. When we are talking about automated valet parking and teleoperated driving, clearly 5G-V2X makes a role. And even more on the right-hand side of this, where the connected cooperative driving becomes much higher, we have V2V kind of use cases that necessitate 5G-V2X to use all its capabilities. And what does that mean? It's making sure that we have a guaranteed quality of service, making sure that also you can form groups, and these groups are relatively reliable in the sense that they are then acknowledging the information or the messages that are coming from each other. And this would enable then use cases such as cooperative maneuvers, cooperative adaptive cruise control that has been discussed quite for some time, dynamic intersection management, where you start to have much better management of the traffic at the intersections, and then even on highways, dynamic cooperative traffic flows. Now, on the bottom side, even if we are talking still about traffic efficiency, which is could be seen as simple, dynamic sharing of dynamic or data sharing of dynamic object is one very important part of what we foresee as delivering from 5G-V2X. And that would enable also unequipped vehicles to be detected and to be part of the exchange of the data that is present with 5G-V2X. Now, why are we now being more vocal about the importance of 5G-V2X? First, we believe that from 3GPP side, we are at a state that 3GPP V2X technology is pretty mature in terms of standards, and so we can say this is the right way to start with in terms of deployment. For us as 5G V2X is the brand name that we use for automotive relevant 3GPP technologies. We see that 5G V2X will become a world consensus for the future. It will support advanced driving that I showed earlier in the slide, but also it will also support all the previous message types, including the basic safety, and it will deliver this service continuity. Additionally, we see that different regional markets are acting a little bit differently. So that means that some will perhaps use 5G V2X alone. Some perhaps will use 5G V2X with the previous LTE V2X radio. And this is completely fine. It's just an adjustment from the regional market, and we have no particular issue on that in that respect. So now, how does 5G want to work forward? We are very much focused in 2024, 2023 on the work that we are doing at the CV2X rollout. So that means still the LTE V2X rollout in the US at the moment. We are focusing on market readiness of the 5G V2X technology. And for that reason, Ettifos is an important player because they are bringing a test platform to the members of 5GA. And then finally, in every part of the world, we are still addressing actively any current market entry barriers that are present. And so with this, I would like to thank you very much for the invitation, and I wish all the best to the Ettifos team. I would like to mention that in a few weeks, 5GA is coming to Seoul, Korea, and on Thursday in the afternoon of the 11th of May, we will have a conference which is bringing a global perspective on the CV2X deployment. And so I hope that if you are present here, you will also take the opportunity to come to Seoul on the 11th of May for this short event. Thank you. With this, I hand back, and I hope that this was interesting for you.
Okay, thank you very much for giving us presentation so early in the morning. 7시입니다, 여러분. 네, 박수 부탁합니다.
Please give me a big round of applause.
Thank you, Jim.
For your information, from the 9th to 13th of May, there will be a face-to-face meeting on 5G. And we were invited to this event as well. So we are going to host a demonstration of 5G V2X technology. In Dallas, October, we are going to have another meeting, face-to-face meeting. Sorry, Detroit. There, we are going to introduce Korea's 5G V2X technology, which is a great pride. I make a lot of eye contact with Mr. Kim. I don't have any other purpose. I just make some eye contact with you. So this is the end of the first session. If you want to go to the restroom, you are free to go. If you have some inconvenience, please let us know. You can free to go to a restroom. And another announcement I'd like to make is that So we are working with the development of technology, modem technology, as part of the government support. Actually, the Korea Road Public Corporation asked us to develop this technology. So at that time, we didn't think about the direct development of modems. And we had to consider many factors. So the center leader of the Unitech, we worked with a report, and we saw the possibility of coexistence. So here, Miss Bang Mi-hee and a lot of staff members from government organizations are here today. So please give a big round of applause for Mr. Amisbar. We like to care about the government agencies that are working with us. So I think that you waited for a long time for our demonstration. So now is the time for us to have a demonstration. Before we get started, Global CTO of Kim Hojun is going to explain us about how to realize software-based modem. He will use simple language. Please give a big round of applause for Mr. Kim Hojun. My name is Kim Hojun from Ettifos. I made some preparations for this session, and I am very excited to see the audience. Thank you for being us today. As Mr. Maxime Flament stated, we thought a lot at our starting point. So now is the time to explain and introduce the software-based modem of Ettifos. From our starting line, Professor Kookmin gave us a lot of feedback and advice. And we had a lot of things to think about in our early stage. So I like to give you the introduction of architecture. This is a very popular area, especially in the area of chipset. Neural engines, GPU, AI engines, they are getting a lot of attention. We can increase clocks, or we can utilize multi-core to improve performance. And we are witnessing some achievements in this field. But you can divide our achievements in servers and the rest. So we have to think about how to change the fundamental technology. It was a big challenge for us. In Silicon Valley, there were many trends we can refer to. For example, Apple, you can see A16 multi-clocking of Apple. So recently, Silicon Valley allows the addition of other equipment. And we thought a lot about how to improve communications. There are many methodologies we can adapt. From our early stages, field tests and policy changes have been made. So it was not easy for us to focus on only one field. We had to be flexible, and we had to be ready for making changes. That is why we adapted AP, as you can see on the left. That was our starting point. As you can see, we tried to make it programmable.
시간이라든지 그런 게 계속 이불로 되면 저희가 고스란히 가지고 있다는 게 팩트인데 저희 엔지니어 팀에
And our engineers thought a lot about this AP usage, and we are still working.
모뎀에 보면은
You can see the modem, 5G-V2X software-based modem.
IT 스택도 있다는
You can see IT stacks,
거 담아서
and some applications were added.
가고 있습니다.
So we are trying to make it possible without separate applications.
해야 된다.
So it should be upgradable.
또 바뀌더라도 이거는 당연히 업그레이드를 해서
And even if some standards are changed, we have to be able to upgrade our systems for the new standards. And we have to make it scalable. It is related to performance. So sometimes we have to improve and boost performance.
더 해야 되는
We have to add something,
예를 들어서 성능이 나아진다면
and we have to improve the functions of AP.
빠른 속도로 스케일을
Then we have to
가능하고요.
be very scalable. You have to allow mass migration.
이라는 얘기는 익스펜더블
And next, we need to make our modem expandable. It is related to platforms.
개발을 해오는 IP들이 어떤
We have
이유들이
developed APs,
어떤 이유가 생긴다면 IP가
and there might be a situation we have to enter the Silicon Valley market.
또 어떤 플랫폼
That's why we have to be expandable.
나온 것처럼 AP에 대한 퍼포먼스가
And the performance of AP should be boosted in 1 year or 2 years. So we have to accelerate the modem in a very rapid pace.
업그레이드할 준비를 계속하고 있어요.
So we have been ready to upgrade our system anytime. And I wrote a keyword of embedded.
임베디드 솔루션.
It means that we worked for embedded solutions.
그래서 여기서 저희가 하는 추가로 업그레이드
So what we seek for is
그다음에
our ability to upgrade,
임베디드라고
scale up, expand, and embed. So with this architecture,
어떻게 적용하면
you can see how to apply the modem and how to apply it for advanced driving. So this is an example.
막심이 발표 전에 마지막 장에 가면
As Maxime stated in his last slide,
그런 거를
we need to make some achievements.
물론 이제 밴드위스도 40메가헤르츠 되고
We need to make 40 megahertz, groupcast, unicast,
그다음에 제일 중요한 거는 어떻게 보면 피처 중에 하나
HARQ,
그러면
and we need to make sure flow-based QoS. And we need to make sure sensor data sharing is possible.
우리나라뿐만 아니라
It is important not only in Korea but also in other countries, including EU.
그러면
And I was told by many people about this issue.
그렇게 하면 어떻게 하겠냐? 예를 들어서 5.9기가에 20메가 있고 다른 데 20메가 당연히 LTE에서 봐는 것처럼 CA를 써야
In LTE, the maximum bandwidth is 20 megahertz.
RF만 만약에 저희가 저기
And sometimes we have to make a response for unexpected situation.
한다는 게뭐 LTE에서 스케줄로부터 정말 빠른 속도로
And we have to make a very rapid response. We have to offer a new solution, real solution.
정하는데 밴드위드 20메가가
So bandwidth
아시겠지만
should be expanded. In the US, only 30 megahertz is possible, 40 impossible.
밴드위드가 30메가 정도 뭐더 달라고 그럼 실질적으로
And some countries require more than 30 megahertz. And we need bandwidth,
저희들 예상하고 있고
more bandwidth. This is what we are expecting in the future.
그러면 실질적으로 조금 가면 어플리케이션이나 저런 서비스에서 그런
So in the applications and services, some people might wonder why 5G is helpful.
데이터 쉐어링을 하려면
In order to ensure sensor data sharing,
쉐어링 저희가
we need to
그런 것도 나옵니다.
share booths.
프로파일 얘기를 OEM이라 하는 것 같습니다.
And I think that people are saying that profiles are OEM, and we are seeking for broadcast.
브루캐스트를 하겠다는 얘기를 하는 거 같고 그다음에
This is what many people are talking about too.
텔레오퍼레이터 드라이빙 같은 거면
And teleoperator driving is 1-to-1. So UniQuest is widely used. So for advanced driving, we need some features. And what we have to use is 5G-V2X. I think 5G-V2X is much more helpful for our company. And with our current platform, we are working with 5G-V2X. In 2022, we had a demonstration, and some of you still remember our demonstration. The solutions we designed from the first phase should be met with the Korean conditions and the global conditions, and I hope to make sure that our technology will be compatible with the rest of the with other technologies of the rest of the world. Thank you very much.
세상에서 가장 쉽게 소프트웨어 기반의 모델
Very simply, he talked about sensor data technology. Please give a big round of applause once again.
이게 제가 감사의 마음을 표현하는 것도 이게 서운하신 분들이 있어서 잘 안 하려고 하지만 꼭 또 해야 될 분들이 있어서 사실 뭐 저희가 뭐 여기까지 오는데 여러분들의 도움이 많이 있었지만 제가 한국 도로
We have had a lot of help until now.
그 시범 시범 인프라 구축 이승훈 차장님
So there is Mr. Lee Sung-hoon on the floor. Can somebody pass the microphone to him?
ITS처에서 했나요? 시범 인프라 구축 사업 정확한 이름을 제가 까먹었어요.
I forgot the exact name of the project, but
운영 구축 사업 이름이 815km 그게 뭐였죠?
there was some projects conducted in 2022.
아 예, 처장님 오셨습니다. 예.
The project was conducted last year, named Shield's project, and last year using WAVE. We established 85 kilometers in metropolitan areas. And the rest of the metropolitan areas, and from Seoul to Busan area, we conducted a pilot project using WAVE. So I think that was the point of your question. I don't know why you called me.
예, 감사합니다. 제 급할 때 도와주셔서 감사합니다.
Thank you very much for helping me in the last
그래서
minute.
저희 V2X 한다 그러면
So when
서비스는
we are talking about
어디에서
V2X,
이런 질문 많이 받거든요.
some people ask me where V2X is used in the real world.
서울 경부 중
So from Seoul to Busan and around the metropolitan areas,
지금은 웨이브 기준이지만 서비스가 송출이 되고 있고
V2X service is now provided currently by using WAVE. So
하나의 정책으로
there are some projects
저희가 에티포스는 스마트폰에서
conducted
쓸 수 있는
by some institutes,
저희가 참여를 할 수 있게 됐었습니다.
and Ettifos devices were used for some of the
그
projects.
사업은 또 SK텔레콤에서 오신 우리 유미 팀장님 팀하고 같이 했었습니다.
And another project was conducted with SK Telecom as well. Can you say a few words to the audience? Thank you.
정정하니까요. 저희 잠깐 한 10분만
Then from now on, we are going to have a 10-minute break time
분들이 생기기 시작했습니다. 저도 그렇고.
because some people want to go to the toilet. So after having a 10-minute break time, we are going to start
다시 뵙도록 하겠습니다.
the session at 15:10 p.m. Thank you very much.
So I think that we have been having a break time and we have been networking, and I can see many of you are selling your products and company. I think that we can hold this kind of event on a regular basis and provide a venue for networking and data sharing. We can have a wine around 4 p.m. in Intercontinental Hotel or other venues. I look forward to a lot of support and interest of investors. After this event, you have more time for networking. So please be seated. We are going to start our second session. Not only the 5G-V2X demonstration, you can see on the left, there are some equipment for mobile devices. V2X Air. Please look at the products as well. I'd like to ask the staff to prepare for our next session. I am very happy to see all of you networking. I will wait for another second.
네,
Now, I'd like to start our second session of today's event. So the demonstration is going to be done by the father of SIRIUS, the cutie CEO, Yi Kangmin. Please give a big round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ettifos CTO Kangmin Lee. Nice to meet you all. Thank you very much for your active interest and support for today's event. Today, we are having a beautiful weather, and it is really great to see your face on this beautiful weather. This event is to demonstrate our products, but beyond advertising our products, I would like to explain our cooperative automated driving and 5G-V2X and the convergence between the two in order to ignite more heated and serious debate. Before explaining our demo scenarios, I mentioned about SIRIUS. And this SIRIUS is a brand name that we provide. So many people can be curious about what SIRIUS is, what kind of functionalities it has, and what kind of benefits that clients can get by using SIRIUS. So before talking about demo scenario, I'd like to talk about this product. So in one sentence, basically SIRIUS is a 5G V2X Sidelink communication solution and device. But it doesn't end by providing communication method, but it can implement and realize 5G V2X use cases. So most of the clients would like to provide services by utilizing 5G V2X. Then, of course, in order to prove service, they will need data. And in order to transmit and receive such data, they have to have a communication platform. And SIRIUS can do the part in here. So clients can develop their services. And by using SIRIUS, clients can transmit and receive data. And we provide client-friendly API. So including our existing clients, so including various types of data, you can use a SIRIUS in a very convenient way. And if you look at the screen, you can see the word EDM. It's not a song, but it is the name of our software tool. So it runs based on Windows, and its role is monitoring SIRIUS function and performance in the real time. So I believe we have some experts in the cellular field, and there are other tools, including the one from Qualcomm and other companies, and I believe that similar functions can be provided by our EDM. This is our development. So by connecting EDM and SIRIUS, clients can optimize their services, analyze their service performance or quality, and improve their services ultimately. So there are 3 demos that we prepare for today. First demo is 4K video data sharing. Using our SIRIUS product, we are going to show you the first demo. And the second demo is LiDAR data sharing by utilizing 5G-V2X protocol. And the last demo is not related to our services, but the last demo is to demonstrate the performance of communication. So achievable throughput, latency, and how our SIRIUS product can be connected will be shown in the third demo. Then now, we are going to present LiDAR data sharing first. When we designed this, what we wanted first is to show LiDAR data in real time in autonomous vehicles. However, we had to change the venue, so we are going to show you pre-recorded LiDAR video today and collection of LiDAR data. For the data, Chungbu National University provided the data. Thank you very much. And there are 2 SIRIUS devices. The first one does a part as TX, and the other plays a role as RX. So using 16-channel, we change the data by using point cloud 2, and we transmit the data using Sidelink PC5. And by receiving the same data, we visualize the data. And protocol for LiDAR data sharing is publish and subscribe method protocol. And there are parameters on the slide you can see. The average data rate is 55 Mbps, and modulation is 64 QAM, and bandwidth is 20 megahertz, and numerology is 0, and SES is 15. And the visualization of LiDAR data will be shown based on a visualization tool named RVs. And on the right side, you can see 2 SIRIUS devices and 2 large-sized screens. And the SIRIUS product on the left is TX, and the other on the right is RX. And each SIRIUS product is connected to control computer, and TX computer transmits pre-recorded LiDAR data. Then the TX device use 5G-V2X communication protocol in order to send the data. Then SIRIUS RX on the right receive the data, and complying with the protocol, it used point cloud 2 in order to visualize the final data. So a vehicle that is equipped with LiDAR data detection technology can detect street lights, other vehicles, and pedestrians, as you can see on the screen. And the data on the left is the original source, and the data on the right is final data. So between the two, there is almost no delay, almost no latency, as you can see here. And next, you can see it, how it works for a few more minutes. As the car moves, there are some changes on the screen, so please see how it works for a few more minutes. So if an autonomous car does not have a LiDAR technology, it can receive data from other autonomous vehicles that is equipped with LiDAR technology. That can be a major meaning or significance of this demo. And let's move on to the next demo. This is to demonstrate the performance of 5G-V2X. And you can see on the right side in this venue, it is located far away from you, maybe, but after the event, you can take another opportunity to have a more closer look. So what we developed is, as you can see, is from physical layer to L2 layer to application layer. We developed all of them. And the demo at the table starts from application layer and how it arrives at the end is demonstrated. So it's end-to-end demonstration. So modulation is 256 QAM, and the data rate is 90 Mbps, and its bandwidth is megahertz, and the latency is about 4.5 milliseconds. And as you can see on the right, there is Ettifos diagnostic monitor, and on the software, not only latency, but also constellation diagram can be found, and other types of graphs, including throughput, can be found as well. So this is our demo. So after this event is completed, you can have a closer look at each demo table. Please give him a big round of applause once again. So we developed 3 scenarios. And do you know the law of demos? We failed to restore the prepared image for today's events. I think many of you know how I feel now, but this max throughput on this slide 27 bps has been conventional speed, but about 2 to 3 megabytes of data or under 10 megabytes of data can be transmitted, but we achieved a lot of improvements, as you can see on the screen. So we would like to achieve 100 megabps And while preparing this demo, I was told that we should not show all of the technology that we have. But we are equipped with the right environment for transmitting data, but we are going to additionally unveil additional technologies. So the one is release 16 compliant connection methodology, and there is one more. And I believe that is the beauty of a software-based modem, because we can update and upgrade our products and services functionalities.
So we are going to continue update our system and products. So 5G NRV2X scenarios were shown, and the desk of Max Proof is located at the corner, and the scenario sending LiDAR data is located in the front. So we will show you the video if possible today, and I feel really sorry that we had some problems showing the video today. But the CTO already mentioned that you can use the LiDAR of another vehicle, not yours, and we lay the foundation to enable the process. So Mr. Kim Ho-jun simply explained about the technology, but you might have some questions about the modem technology. So we're going to have a Q&A session. So please keep us the chairs on the stage. So they are the researchers of Ettifos. They are developing hardware. They are researchers, but they are helping us today as staff members. Please turn on once again. I'm sorry.
And there was some issue about our demo scenario, but I think I have to explain our demo scenario. So the thing that we would like to introduce is 4K video data sharing. So on the left side at this venue, there is a webcam on the TV screen, and it is recording the venue right now. And this webcam records 4K live video, and we use MPEG-2 TS in order to encode, and using our SIRIUS devices, we transmit the data using Sidelink PC5 protocol. And the data rate is 55, modulation is 64, bandwidth is 20. And when it comes to LiDAR data sharing, numerology was 0 and SES was 15. However, when it comes to 4K video data sharing, we put 1 as numerology and 30 as SES in order to see you more various possibilities. So if we were able to show you the demo today by using the two screens on the left, we will show you the original source and the restored image on the right screen. And on the top of that, we prepared YOLO, an object detection device. So video data will be used by YOLO in order to detect objects. And I hope I can have an opportunity to have this demo today. Please come to the stage, our C-level members, for the Q&A session. You can ask any questions about standardization, technical, or policy aspects. We are open to any questions, but all the answers that we provide can be based on our company's opinion. So from now on, we are going to receive questions from the floor. If you raise your hand, you will get a chance to ask a question, and if you have a question, please introduce yourself. And there is one thing I would like to say. After this Q&A session, after today's event, you will have another opportunity to ask questions to our engineers. So if you have very technical or in-depth questions, our engineers can provide their sincere answers. So if you cannot have an opportunity during the Q&A session, please don't worry, because you will have another opportunity after the event. Please feel free to ask questions. There is one person raising his hand. Good afternoon. Thank you for your demo today. I believe that today's event is mainly about V2X, but I believe that some main characteristics of V or vehicle are not fully introduced today. So can you introduce some main characteristics by focusing on vehicles, including low latency or higher throughput? I will provide an answer. Of course, V2X mainly focuses on V or vehicle, and X can be a vehicle, infrastructure, pedestrians, or network. It can be anything. LTE V2X and 5G V2X. There are 4 categories: V2V, V2I, V2P, V2N. Except for V2N, the 3 categories use direct communication. That's our consensus within our company. And our SIRIUS products and communication platform will be based on direct communication, not cellular network. So it is a direct communication between each device. So generally, when we use cellular network communication, latency is decades millisecond, but our latency is less than 5 milliseconds. And by using DSRC, it targets less than 10% error range, but our target is much higher because the technology will be applied to autonomous driving. So it requires 99.99% of accuracy in transmitting data. So by using groupcast and unicast, their role becomes very much important. So when it comes to the stage of our technology development, we only develop broadcast. But when it comes to groupcast and unicast, we are going to put our efforts for that as well. And hopefully, maybe this year, they can be developed, and maybe early next year, unicast functionality will be provided. That's our goal. I'm not sure if my answer is enough.
다음 질문
Okay, let's move on to the next question.
마이크 부탁드립니다.
Please pass the microphone. My name is Kim Yong Je. Thank you very much for your presentations. I work on standardization, and most of the solutions and technology of your company is based on PC5 direct communication. And if you jump into additional developments, do you have any plan to develop valid interface going forward? I'd like to hear from you about your next step. This is a question related to our company's strategy, so I will pass the microphone to our CEO. That's the right call. So there are two perspectives that you have to consider. If we get enough investments, then we can jump into the developments of valid interface. But considering the size of our company, it is hard or difficult to support data network. And when it comes to mobile network, we can utilize data module provided by other companies or institutes. So I believe that we can provide support for that. Wave and LTE-V2X can support both direct and network communication. Thank you very much for your answer. UU modems are provided by Qualcomm and other global companies. And Sidelink direct communication is provided by some companies, and it has about 90 million vehicles as of market size. So that is the reason why Ettifos is mainly focusing on direct communication. And to add some sentences from technical point of view, UU network and PC5 network, I think they are not that different from technical perspective. They have same layers, and they are applied by similar codings as well. And Ettifos has about 30 developers and engineers, and I believe that is not enough number to develop modem development. But the reason why we continue to develop modems is because compared to UU, PC5 communication has some simpler aspects, including handover, because we don't need to support handover. So that is why we mainly focus on PC5. And if you look at the service layer, V2N using UU and other V2V or V2I service using PC5, we are very much interested. So we are going to make our efforts for the development. To add more, when it comes to V2N, we think there are some efforts to define, but from our perspective, from the perspective of service or application, we think we can add some more aspects later. So we can access the network communication, but how we access that topic can be different. I believe the market itself is in a very early stage. There are some questions from our foreign participants online.
대리 질문이 있도록 하겠습니다.
We have a question from Maxime Flament from 5G. His first question is Groupcast acknowledgement and quality of service guaranteed already in SIRIUS? If not, when is it planned? So I believe you answered that Groupcast will be released in the middle of this year. Do you mind answering the rest of the question?
제가 할까요? 네. 이거 지금 통역이 되고 있기 때문에 한글
I will speak in Korean.
영어로 하실 수는 있는 거죠? 네.
Can you also speak in English as well? But I will choose Korean.
가장 기본적인 기능은
The basic functionality
HRQ입니다.
is HRQ.
HRQ도 크게 보면 두 가지
And HRQ has two main feedback methodology, negative feedback and acknowledgement feedback.
네거티브 온리 피드백 방식
And negative only feedback method will be mainly used in our perspective. And when it comes to SIRIUS, our main target is
QoS가 보장된 그룹캐스트를 지원하는 것입니다.
to support the quality of Groupcast by the end of June, and according to the timeline, we are making our efforts. 5GWA
CPA 메시지, 그러니까
collective perception message and profile are being made by European OEMs, but the direction that we would like to take is complete our most of the preparation by the end of June. And if we can integrate our efforts with other companies' modems, we are more than open to that. And we hope that we will lay the foundation for seamless autonomous driving. And I believe there are many questions coming from Europe, so we will take another question.
Maxime has one more question. His question is, how do you see the added value of 3GPP release 17 compared to release 16?
네, 이것도 제가 말씀을 먼저 드리면 17에서 추가된
릴리즈 17에
기능들이 몇 가지가 있어요.
there are some additional functionalities in release 17.
사이드링크 인핸스먼트라는 관점에서
So from the Sidelink enhancement, there are some new functionalities in release 17.
파워 세이빙 이슈죠.
And I believe power saving is an important issue. Until release 16,
차량에 장착되어 있는 OBU나
OBU
RSU
and RSU are main considerations.
스펙이 정해져 있었습니다. 그러다 보니
So
파워 세이빙 문제에서
power saving
이미 충분한
was not fully considered in release 16. However, starting from release 17,
벌러러블 로드 유저라고 부르는 자전거나 보행자나
vulnerable road users, including
이런 VRU
pedestrians and people on bicycles, started to be considered.
휴대용 전원을 사용할 수 없지 않습니까? VRU는 그래서
So
에너지 세이빙에 대한 이슈
energy saving issue and related features are newly added.
기술적인 용어긴 하지만
And this can be more technical, but partial sensing and random selection are applied.
저희가 개발하고 있는
So the strength of SIRIUS
센스 같은 경우에
when it comes to partial sensing logic is fixed.
순간에 호환이 아니라
So between release 16 and 17, we have to, other companies' products have to replace
소프트웨어화되어 있는
chips. However,
17에서 추가로
our products
센싱이라든지
have no difference between release 16 and 17. We provide support for both 16 and 17. But of course, we are going to focus on release 17 for the development of our solution and products. We are going to take one more question
We have a question
from Europe.
from a PhD student at RWTH Aachen University. His question is, since this technology is aimed for vehicular scenarios, what is the performance of SIRIUS under high mobility scenarios? Is the latency as low as in LiDAR demo?
네, 그 굉장히 당연한 질문이고 좋은 질문인데요.
I believe it is a very good question.
타겟으로 하고 있는 숫자들이 있어요.
There are some target numbers that we have on
3GPP
eMotion as well.
지원되어야 하는 모빌리티는
And under 3GPP standard,
500km입니다. 그 얘기는 뭐냐면
the speed of 500 kilometers
부대의 차량이 양방향에서 마주보는 그런 상황까지 고려하고 있고요.
is important. So Doppler effects under the speed of 500 kilometers. There are relevant standards as well. So our aim is to provide our support for the maximum speed of 500 kilometers, but we have not conducted tests yet. But starting from April, we are going to conduct performance tests using SIRIUS. So after conducting the test, we can publish our report about the performance of SIRIUS and 5G-V2X. So I hope to have another opportunity to introduce the report later. Thank you very much for your clear answer. Is there anyone who would like to ask a question from the floor? My name is Kim Jae-sung from Samsung SDS. I went to CES this year and I saw Ettifos booth, and I felt very proud that Korean company participated in the CES. And thank you very much for providing this event. I would like to ask about the role of Sidelink in the autonomous vehicle market. I believe the sheer amount of data is very massive. So there are repetitive controversies and debates going on. So my question is about the role of Sidelink from the perspective of 5G-V2X. I am going to provide an answer. I believe there is no one perfect solution. We have to use different solutions for different situations. And there are three big demands when it comes to data. The first is safety. We have to guarantee the safety. And the second is about V2V. And the last is additional convenience that users can feel. So there are three. And Ettifos believes that Sidelink can play a part in the first, safety aspects, because safety is very important for the public and it is a public matter. So in the private sector, some people who pay more money can receive better service. However, in the public sector, safety is the main priority. So without any payment, direct communication can be a valid option supported by its government. So the first, safety aspects, Sidelink and UU communication should do their part, but main purpose is ensure the safety of taxpayers from the perspective of Sidelink. And secondly, telecommunication companies update vehicle, and I believe UU communication can play its part. In UU, high volume of data is really important. So whether private companies have to buy that data or a public sector can receive and share the data can be a topic of debate. But if players have to pay money for data, I believe there can be some burden on citizens as well. So there is UU's parts and Sidelink's parts, and when it comes to the third, convenience aspects, I believe UU market led by the private sector is still alive. So there are different communication needs in our opinion. 5G Maxime has shown a roadmap during his presentation, and if you look at in detail, you can see the convergence of Sidelink and UU, and there are a lot of ideas embedded in the slide. So I'd like to ask you to refer to the slide for more detailed information. I believe that we are behind our schedule, but if it is allowed, we are going to take 2 more questions. Do you agree? Thank you very much. Only a few people answered, but I will take as a yes. Not only technical questions, but also other general questions are fine. My name is Song Yun-seok. Thank you for providing demo today. From the perspective of KPI, what is Ettifos' target, throughput target? You said about 4.5 milliseconds, but I am wondering if there is any possibility to lower the number more. And the next question is that lab test and latency tests are different, but do you think there is more requirements for latency test? Thank you for your question. About KPI's throughput, 90 if we make figures double up, you may think that throughput will also double. However, the throughput that we are showing today is the best number under the right lab environment. So to guarantee the reliability of data sharing, we need feedback channel. Then under the current time domain, there are 14 symbols. And when it comes to Sidelink, TX and RX are using the same channel, half duplex method. So the first symbol is dedicated to one thing, and the other is dedicated to another thing. So among 14, we gave 2 symbols, and by applying HRQ, in order to do so, we have to designate 3 more symbols, so which means that 5 symbols cannot be used for data sharing, and among the rest of the 9 symbols, they are used for overhead and for other purposes. So after our calculation, after considering HRQ,
대략 120 메가bps 언저리에서 거의
120 megabps is our current target.
거는 수가 있는 건 마이모입니다.
And MIMO can be a parameter.
마이모도 지원이 되게 되어 있고요.
Currently, MIMO is supported as well, but as you know,
상태에 따라서 제한적으로
MIMO, the use of MIMO can be restricted.
마이모를 쓸 수 있는 상태가 되어야만 저희 마이모를
Under certain conditions, we can provide MIMO.
bps에 더블인 대략 200mbps까지는
So up until 200 megabps, I think there is a possibility for us to provide. So software-based AP
굉장히 리얼타임 OS를 이용해서 옵티마이징하고
will optimize in real time,
최대한 프로세스 타임을 줄이는 작업
and we are going to reduce the processing time. And when it comes to latency, it's about 4.5 milliseconds. So our target is less than 3 megaseconds.
실제로 시험상에서 필요로 한 것들이 하면은
And requirements for test
제가 한다는 엔지니어링
from the perspective of engineer,
충분히 채널 에뮬레이터를 이용하는 테스트가 먼저 돼야 된다고 생각을 해요.
we believe we have to first conduct a lab test before testing on the real road. If not, there is no answer. So we have to emulate similar environments inside the lab and guarantee the performance is the key, we believe. My name is Kitaeg, and as I told you before, in order to enter the global market, system semiconductors should be developed, which is of course. Do you have any plan for that? I'd like to ask you
바로 대표님께 드리도록 하겠습니다.
that question.
저희는 준비를 되어 있습니다.
We are prepared for that.
제가 여기 계신 세 분 모두 반도체 섹터에서 오다 보니까
And all of us are from semiconductor sector, so we know how much efforts and how much money should be put.
심적으로는 모든 게 준비가 되어 있지만
So we are ready, but in order to actually implement not only our commitment, but also our investors' commitment is very important. It takes about 20 billion won for the development, so that's the situation. So my answer is yes, we are considering that and we are ready for that. But how we will actually make an action can depend on other aspects, including our investors' commitment. That's the situation.
네, 오늘 소개드린 시리우스 플랫폼은
Our SIRIUS platform
반도체 들어가기 전에 하는 일종의 과정입니다. 여기서
is
다 보고 오케이
one stage
그 직전까지
that every semiconductor companies
많은 투자자
go through. So we would like to ask for more investors' active interest and support. And when it comes to chips that you mentioned, not only technology, but also demand can be main hurdles. Of course, there are some rooms that we have to try and make an effort, but it is not a matter of our own company's efforts. Of course, there are investors, but also other companies' consensus can be important. But as our CEO said, we are ready for that.
그거를 예상하시고 질문을 하셔서
너무 그렇게 얘기하시면 짜고 치는 거 같은 느낌이
So
그래서 그럼
So demand can be another issue, as I mentioned earlier, and hopefully that issue can be solved in the near time. We are receiving a lot of questions now. However, due to the limited time frame, we are going to now wrap up today's events. Please give them a big round of applause for sincerely answering every question.
So last but not least, we are going to invite our CEO for the closing remark, but I have one thing to tell you. So we are a startup company, and we are undergoing successes and failures. And we have been helped by a lot of people who are here today. I am very happy and honored to have you here. So, but last but not least, we are going to invite our CEO for the closing remark. And after that, we are going to finish today's event. So I got a confirmation that the demonstration is ready. I am very sorry that this event has been delayed a little bit.
네, 인생이 참 이렇습니다.
I think this is how the life is going.
모니터만 켜면 아마 될 것 같은데요.
So I think that you can see the demonstration
다시
if you
한번
turn on the
설명을
monitor.
말씀드리면 여러분들 보시기에 왼편에 있는
So as you can see, there is a TX device on the left and there is RX device on the right.
저 왼편 모니터 위쪽에
And on the
그 웹캠으로
monitor on the left side, you can see a webcam on the top of that, and it transmits 4K video data.
TX 시리우스 장비에서
Then TX SIRIUS device
데이터가 MPEG-2로 인식이 되고 그 인코딩
encodes the video using MPEG-2 TS and transmit the data using PC5 protocol. Then Sirius RX device receives the signal
반대판 순서로
and
5G-V2X
using 5G-V2X protocol, it decodes the signal
MPEG-2로 인코딩하게 되고요.
by using MPEG-2,
그 디코딩된 데이터를
and decoded data can be seen as the video. We hope to do so, but
나오겠나요?
okay, it is working now.
예, 죄송합니다. 잠시만요.
I'm sorry, but we'd like to have a few more seconds.
예, 일단 이쪽이 준비되기 전에 지금 화면에 일부만 나오고 있는
So this is only the part of the screen, but restored data
아까 말씀드린 욜로라는 그 개팅
is shown here, just like this.
only live once가 아니고
And YOLO here means you only look once. So this is a tool for object detection. So you can see that most of you are recognized as humans, fortunately.
예, 이게 저희가 준비했던
Okay, this is everything that we prepared. Thank you very much.
예, 그 장시간 동안
For a long time, you showed your interest for our event. Thank you very much for your interest and support. Today we had a demonstration, and I hope that this event will lay the foundation for the development of 5G-V2X of Korea. And I would like to see the creation of the ecosystem in Korea. And we have to go to the global market. We cannot be satisfied with the domestic market only. So our competitors are not Korean competitors, but global competitors. And we also need to create very solid and robust ecosystem in Korea. Only then we can successfully enter the global market. That is my very hope. You have shown your great interest. I hope you go back home very safe. Thank you for your interest. Thank you very much. As I told you before, after this event, each booth is ready to take your questions. If you need parking tickets, please ask our staff members and they will give you the tickets.